Hello, grade sixes. Welcome back. This is our second video of ancient China. While you are doing your home-based learning and I'm at parent-teacher conferences, I want you to read through this, answer these questions as our bell ringer, and then continue watching the rest of this video as we learn about Confucius. So, the question number one, why does a school have rules? How do rules help a country? And do you like rules? Why? Write your answers down on your paper when you're finished, um, or pause, then write the answers down. Finished, continue watching the rest of this video. Okay, I assume you have stopped and you've paused or hit play again. That's why you can hear me. We'll continue on with the next thing. So rules. Oh, actually, we'll go back. Why do schools have rules? I'm sure you want to keep order, right? You want to make sure none of the big kids are beating up the little kids, right? You probably want to make sure nobody's cheating on tests. You want to make sure that teachers don't keep you too long after school or during class. Also, so everyone can meet the expectations, or maybe it's homework assignments, the rules for that to make sure that everyone's given a fair chance at a good grade. Why or how do rules help a country? I think rules help a country by keeping law and order, right? Making sure that citizens are safe, making sure the people who are living in the country are free as well. And there's rules that enforce that people stay free, like free speech, right? Those kinds of things where a country needs rules in order to keep order, right? Order, whether it's roads, right? Driving on what side of the road, that's a rule, right? Might not think about it every day, but there's rules, and those rules help the country function and help it prosper, help the people get along. Me, I'm kind of in between. I like rules, but I also don't like some rules, and all depends on if it makes sense. My wife, she doesn't like rules. So, anyways, we won't talk about her too much. Rules, why do we have them? Simple reason is really because there are sinful people in this world. There's broken people, there's bad people, and we need to make sure we're protecting ourselves from them, protecting ourselves from the effects of sin. God created this world perfect with order, and so we establish rules to offset what sin has done and to establish order again, to establish a platform for people and others to succeed, to be fruitful, to prosper. And so rules help us plan for the future. They help us give us predictability. They, if you know, right, that when you're playing basketball and you get fouled, or that player has so many fouls they get fouled out of the game, right? It gives you something you can predict, right? A certain number of this is going to result in this, whereas if there it isn't there, we're whooped and hooped. Um, it allows people's rights to be protected. Your right to be alive is something pretty sweet. I am all favor for being alive, and so I'm gonna want rules that keep other people from murdering me, right? Keep other people from stealing my money or giving me deadly sicknesses, right? Those kinds of things. It protects people from bad guys. If you know that there's the police station right next door, right? You can call them, they'll come and help you, right? If people know that the cops are going to come, they're not going to be bad, hopefully. Anyways, this is all why rules are important. In ancient China, they had a lot of people living in different places, and they have a culture now that we know as like Asian Chinese culture. However, that wasn't always the case, and so there's a man who, through his philosophy, through his study of the world, of the people, of the culture of the times, he established a way of life that would bring order, predictability, rules, and structure the Chinese society. And it impacted the world so much, or the Chinese world at that time, that we still see it today. And it's actually become a religion, and some people follow it. There is no God in Confucianism. They're not trying to um, live righteously before God, but it is basically almost a moralistic persona almost. Man, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Confucius, he was a person. He was not a god. He was not a ruler. He didn't have his own dynasty. He was born in the year 551 BC. So take that, put that into your timeline, okay, the one we made up in class. What um, what dynasty was he under? And then he lived to the year 479 BC. My question for you is, what dynasty is that? After that, his lifetime is capped by being a Chinese teacher, an editor, a politician. He served in the government and as a philosopher. And he did not have a normal life. Like, he wasn't somebody who was born into the noble family or born into the king or was a teacher. He was born very poor, actually. His father died when he was just 3 years old. He was said to be like a shepherd taking care of sheep. However, even in his poverty, had the ability to move up. And so he became a scholar, but he also was just a regular farmer dude, because in China it costed a lot to have a burial. And so eventually his mom died and he had to pay for that. And so this guy Confucius um, was the patriarch, the architect of Chinese culture. And so Confucius came up with these 5 relationships, and I should have that up there, but you can put that in yourself. 5 relationships that rule society, and you can see those here. On the top, for number 1, we have ruler is over the subject. Okay, so the subject rule is being ruled and is submissive to the ruler. Okay, the next one is father son. Okay, father is over his son. Father takes care of his son, however, the son is submissive to his father. And so the third one is husband to wife. Fourth is elder brother and younger brother, how you're treated, oldest son, those kinds of things. And then, however, there's the relationship of friend to friend, and that's straight across. Instead of up and down, linear thinking, it's straight across, which means equal terms. You're not serving your friend, you're honoring and respecting them. A lot of the bowing culture, those kinds of things, came from showing that you are submissive to that person, your dad, whoever it is, father, I should say, wife to husband. And then I'm going to move my face out of here. The society was structured around different classes, and so people were born into these areas of life, and this is another part of the Chinese society structure. And so the king, you can see that at the top of the pyramid, the king and his family were placed at the utmost level of ancient Chinese society pyramid. They were the most important people. You served them. Everyone was under them. They paid respect to them, which we see in a lot of other ancient societies and structures. And then right under the king was the Shi, and the Shis were scholars, okay, and of the ancient Shang and Shang dynasties. What that means is, underneath the king is teachers. You can become a scholar. Anyone could become a scholar. You're not born a scholar. So there's a chance for you to move out of your poverty, out of whatever class you were, up into the Shi class. The Nong class was peasants and farmers. These are the people who did the work, the everyday things. These were pretty normal, average Joes. The gong was comprised of the craftsmen and the artsmen. So the people who built the architecture, right? The terracotta warriors, all those things. Those people would be considered in the gong. On the Shang, which is under them, were considered the traders and the merchants. And so often in society we see traders and merchants actually lower because they might have more wealth, but they are looked down upon because of cheating other people. They are scouted, usually hunted down and can be seen like as criminals. Those types of personas or aromas came with them. And then the Nubi, these were the class of slaves. And so you will need to know the 5 relationships and this class structure, how it dictated society, where your life would be under it, Oftentimes you're born into one of these. You were born a slave, you were born a merchant, you were born a peasant and a farmer. Not everybody has land, and so um, you grew up within it. Unless you're a king, then you're born into the king family. However, you had the opportunity to move up in society if you became a scholar. Okay, that's the end of our video. I hope you enjoy. You don't have to do these questions, sorry.